Good evening. Recently, Terry Cartwright posted that she was confused as to whether Picardo or Costa was the bigger liar. She then went on to say that Costa was producing doctored figures, presumably in the debate where he made mincemeat of their candidate Phillips, using figures on training and on unemployment, which of course Terry Cartwright assumes have been doctored by me, and she praises me for doctoring the figures by saying I am the master of the art. Well, clearly she deserves a reply. Terry Cartwright, of course, is not a candidate in this election, nor is she an election agent, but she has been an election agent of the past, and she has been closely linked to the lie-generating machinery of the GSD for a very long time in previous years and in previous elections. So, given that she can't have done this by accident, and that it must be by design, and that the GSD is in fact mentioning things which are untrue and claiming that we are the ones who are lying, it seems to me evident that the GSD in this election is making an issue of who is telling the truth. They say the election is about who you can trust. Well, I'm happy to fight this election against the GSD on that basis. For 15 years, they lied in Parliament on the question of the finances of community care. For 15 years, they made pensioners believe that they were funding the quarterly household cost allowance when it was being paid from the reserves built up from the capital grants given to the charity before 1996 by the Gslp government. In a recent motion in Parliament, I documented with dates and texts the false statements made by the GSD government claiming that the reserves of the charity were intact at £60 million cash from 1997 onwards, when the very opposite was true. The truth only came out in July 2010, when the GSD said in an interview that the reserves of the charity had been deliberately run down to zero because it was going to be replaced by a system that was better for pensioners. You cannot trust the GSD. They lie, and they do not keep their electoral promises. They lie in the things that they tell you about us. By lying to the electorate, they are stealing your vote. They are promising things they will not deliver and telling you things which are not true. Not content with removing the safeguard of a self-sufficient community care institution, as they did, they are now also abandoning the social policy introduced by the GSD government of paying above market interest rate by selling debentures to pensioners and other saviours. This policy has been continued in the last 4 years on a larger scale than previously, making it available to more people and for bigger amounts from the sale of debentures from the savings bank. If the GSD were to get into government this month, they would stop selling savings bank debentures. Our pensioners and other savers would lose the opportunity they have of a secure home for their savings and a good rate of interest. The GSD would also stop the annual capital grant to community care and once again run down the reserves as they did the last time. The GSD have lied to Parliament, to the electorate, and especially to the 6,000 pensioners who believed the GSD government was funding the quarterly community care check when it was not true. No pensioner should ever again vote for the GSD. They cannot be trusted. They promised that they had a better scheme to replace community care, which would be in place by January 2012 after the general election, and FITAM was part of that government and that lie. There is no alternative scheme for pensioners, and there never was one. FITAM has now admitted it and says he will continue with community care if he gets into government. You cannot trust him to keep his word. He lied before when he told you in the last election in 2011 that there was a better alternative, when one that never existed. He now admits it never existed. They said then it would be completely reckless to not to do away with community care, and that our commitment to continue with it meant we were not fit to return to government. Well, look, we were returned to government, and we have created £100 million of reserves for community care, as we promised in 2011. FITAM now says he will keep community care, even though when we promised to do it, it made us unfit for government, but it doesn't make him unfit for government. The GSD lies and contradictions shows they are the ones who are unfit to ever be returned to government. And therefore, when you look at the things that they're saying, you have to put it in context. What I am telling you about what happened in Parliament is not something that I am concocting or making up. This document you can get on the web and is the official record of Hansard of the Parliament. This document shows the mention that I took. This document has the dates, or maybe Terry Cartwright thinks I concoct the Hansard of the Parliament as well. The reality of it is that every statement that we make, we can prove. And every lie that they can make, they cannot produce any evidence because they make things up as they go along. In this election, what you need to do is vote for the people who do not lie, and for the people who can trust, and for the people who deliver everything that has been done in the last 4 years. Thank you.